Hello my friends, this is Mr. Islam Said Al-Ash. Today we're gonna talk about if conditionals. Close-up C1, page 88, Unit 7. What's meant by if conditionals? If conditionals or a conditional is a sentence or a part of a sentence that expresses a condition, a certain condition. So any if conditional, we can divide it into two parts. If clause and result clause or main clause. The result clause, pay attention, the result clause depends on the if clause. That means if this happens, the if clause, this happens, zero conditionals. If this happens, present simple, this happens, the result clause. As a result, this happens. It's zero conditional. What if I say, if this happens, present simple also, this will happen, first conditional. What about if this happened, past simple, this would happen as a result, second condition. Third conditional, if this had happened, this would have happened. Fixed conditional, if this hadn't happened, this wouldn't happen or would happen, whatever. Okay, let's go through details. Okay, what about the zero conditional? Truth, or you can express your daily routine using the zero conditional. That means you can say, as a fact, when we boil or when we heat ice, it melts. It's a fact. So we use here zero conditional. Present simple, present simple. If a clause will be in the present simple. Why? Because it's a fact. Zero conditional. Present simple and present simple. As a daily routine, if I get up in the early morning at 7, what about the first conditional? The first conditional is all about present simple in the if clause. That means if this happens, this will happen as a result. Like for example, if he catches this picture, if he catches a fish, he will be very happy. So being happy depends on what? Catching a fish. Okay, so present simple and something likely to happen in the future. Like if I say, if you study hard, you will succeed, you will pass. Okay, I'm talking here about possibility or something likely to happen in the future if this part, if the if part, if clause happens. Okay, it's composed of if plus present simple and will as a modal verb followed by infinitive form, of course. Okay, shall I start my sentence? Shall I begin a sentence using if only? No, you can start using will, of course. What if I add not? If he doesn't catch a fish, he won't be happy. So it's a negative form. Okay, it's very easy, very simple. Okay, what about the second condition? We call it unreal present situation, like an imaginary situation. Like this example, if I met a genie, I would ask for infinite wealth. Okay, Mr. Islam, what's meant by unreal present situation? It's an imaginary one. That means, let's go through the second example. For example, I'm telling you, I don't have money. I can't buy this car. So I will express this situation using if conditional, like if I had, that's simple, if I had money, but I'm not, really I'm not. If I had money, I would buy this car. That's why we call it unreal present situation. Like if I won $1,000,000, I would travel around the world. Unreal present situation. But just to know, it has the possibility to be changed in the future. I would win $1,000,000 in the future, and I would travel around the world, but in the future. But right now, I can't because I don't have the $1,000,000. The second example, sorry. If I met him again, I would tell him the truth. So it's unreal present situation. Why? Because I met him, I lied on him. So it's unreal, I'm expressing here unreal present situation, or imaginary. You can say imaginary situation. Okay, what about this page or these examples? If I had money, I would, but I don't really, I would give you some. So it means the base form or the real situation that's happening right now, that I don't have money present, I don't have money, so I can't give you some. Okay. We can also use examples like this one, imaginary, full imaginary situations. If I were you, but I'm not really. If I were you, I would apologize. If I were a bird, I would fly. It's unreal. It's an imaginary one. Okay? What about the third condition? Third conditional, if plus past perfect. The second one, the second conditional was if plus past simple, would, could, or might, plus the infinitive form of the verb. Okay, the third conditional, if plus past perfect, and the result clause would have plus the past participle form of the verb. You can change would and put instead could or might, of course. And in any conditional, you can change would using could or might. And will also can be changed with can or may. Or also we'll talk about changing will, can, and may with would, could, and might. It's all about possibility in the future, in the first condition. Okay. As we said, the third conditional, the third type, if plus past perfect, if plus past perfect would have plus past participle. And this conditional expresses a past situation which is impossible to be changed. And that means that this situation happened in the past and we can never change it. So if I say, if I had gone to the party, I might have met lots of people, but really the party started and ended and I hadn't gone to the party, so I haven't met anyone or any one. Yes. Okay. So between brackets here, but I didn't go. If my father hadn't or had here the first one for the form of the past perfect, and the second one as a main verb. If my father had had time, he would have attended the seminar. So the seminar here started and ended in the past, and my father didn't have time really, so he hadn't attended the seminar. Okay. What about conditionals without if? Okay. We'll talk about the mixed conditionals, and there are many. So please hear one of them, which is past perfect tense with plus infinitive. And this conditional, or the mixed conditionals, is a mix between tenses, not present and present, not past and past, would plus, like the second condition, would plus infinitive, or would have plus, no, different tenses, a mix between the conditions. So this one, the past perfect tense, when we use the past perfect tense in the if clause, and would plus infinitive as a result clause or main clause, it refers here to different times. We use it to express a present result of a hypothetical past or virtual past event or situation. Like when I say this example, if Mark hadn't stolen his idea, if Mark hadn't stolen his idea, Kevin would be famous now. And this sentence means that Mark had stolen Kevin's idea. Mark had stolen Kevin's idea. And now Mark is not a famous one. So it's a present result. Kevin would be famous now, but he is not really, because as a reason, Mark had stolen his idea. So it's a past situation and a present result, as simple as that. Okay, what about the conditionals without if? Actually, we can use some expressions instead of if, but they give me the meaning of if, or also the usage of if. Like provided. Provided that you have finished your experiment, you may leave the lab. I can put instead of provided that, if you have finished your experiment, you may leave the lab. As long as there are problems, people will look for solutions. So we can put if instead of as long as. If there are problems, people will look for solutions. Pay attention for this part, because we'll use unless and otherwise. Unless and otherwise both are used instead of if not, or to give me the meaning of if not, or except if. And that means unless is negative itself. For this example, I won't be able to finish the research unless you help me. So it means if you don't help me, I will not be able to finish the research. And pay attention for a very important part. We can never say or use a negative form of a verb in the unless clause. We can never say, unless you don't help me, I won't be able to finish the research. It's wrong. Unless is negative itself, so it gives me the meaning of if not, or except if. I won't be able to finish the research except if you help me, or if you don't help me. Okay? And also otherwise, in this example, watch how I do it. Otherwise, you will make a mistake. So, you will make a mistake if you don't watch how I do it. Supposing means, what if? Like a question 4. What if that happens? Supposing the experiment doesn't work, what will you do? As an assumption, what will you do if the experiment doesn't work? Supposing is like, what if? Okay, and this part will be in the next lesson. Okay, let's go through the examples or the exercise mainly. Here, 0, first, second, third, mixed. Okay, those are some examples. Read it individually. And this exercise will write here in front of each situation or statement, or mainly the usages, its conditions. Okay, the first one, number 1, as I said before, page 88. A situation that is unreal, or I can't buy the car or this car. So if I had money, I would buy the car. Okay, general truth or facts mainly, and we express 0 condition. Okay, number 3, a past situation with the present result, as we said, virtual. So it's here, mix it. Okay, a real or likely situation. Okay, so it's first. The last one, a situation that is unreal or imaginary in the past. Once you find in the past, it can never change. It happened in the past, started and ended in the second, please. 166. Okay, the next exercise on the same page. Give me 1 second. Slowly. Okay, exercise C. We'll put if instead of the expression that gives me the meaning of if. Okay. Provided he finishes his studies, he'll find a job as a science teacher. Okay, provided, as we said, if he finishes, so provided, we'll put instead of it, if. Okay, the second one, as long as you follow the manual, you'll be able to set up the machine. Okay, as long as here gives me the meaning of if, so it will be if you follow the manual and complete the sentence. The next one, supposing someone disapproves your theory, what would you do? So number 3, supposing gives me the meaning of what if. Okay. For number 4, but for his support, I wouldn't have applied for the research grant. Okay, this part, which is a very important one, but for his support, it means if he hadn't supported me, or if it hadn't been for his support, I wouldn't have applied. So, but for his support, or but for, if it hadn't been for his support. They won't know how to do the experiment unless you show them. Okay, unless here gives me the meaning not. So if you don't show them, they won't know. Sorry. Number 6, restart the computer, otherwise the new program won't download. Okay, otherwise here as unless gives me the meaning of if not. So the computer won't download if you don't restart it. Okay, or if you don't restart the computer, the new program won't download. Okay, help me with my chemistry homework and I will help you with your English or with English. Help me gives me the meaning of if you help me. It's an imperative form. Like ask and any imperative form. Okay, the next example or exercise. Read the facts, complete the conditional sentences with the verb in brackets in the correct form. Hooray! Number 1, mosquitoes are responsible for spreading the disease of malaria. But for the mosquito, this disease so common. And between brackets, B. Okay, I'll use here wouldn't be. Cause, but for the mosquito, this disease wouldn't be so common. So, we use here wouldn't be. Bronze is composed of copper and tin. Copper, between brackets here, we do have turn and corrode. So copper, we use turn here, will be turns, and when it corrodes, so that's why bronze artifacts have a green tooth. Okay, it's a fact or truth, so we use zero conditional. Okay, if in 1928 Alexander Fleming, and we'll use notice and have. So amount around some bacteria, we dash, the verb have will be used here, penicillin today. Okay, so if Alexander Fleming hadn't noticed, we would wouldn't have, yes, correct, penicillin today. Okay, number 4. There are 62,000 miles of blood vessels in the human body. You dash them together end to end, they dash is 2.5 times. Between brackets, put and circle. If you put, they circle only, or would circle, or would be circled, or what would circle. Possibility in the future, and also it's an imaginary situation. You can never like put your blood vessels together end to end, so it's an imaginary one. So number 5, on certain nights of the year, if you dash between brackets look and see into the gray sky, you dash the planets Venus and Mars. Okay, here you can do it, right? Or you can't. You can, of course. So we'll use here look, present simple, and here future, can or will see. Okay, the next exercise. Apart from the sun and the moon, it's possible to see Jupiter, Mars and Venus in the daytime, as long as or unless you know when and where and when to look. Okay, as long as or unless. Unless, as we said, gives me the meaning of if not. So, if you don't know where and when, or if you know where and when, of course, if you know, as long as. Okay, the second one. Communications satellites which have reflective surfaces can also be seen otherwise or provided there is sunlight. Otherwise, as we said, means or gives me the meaning of if not. So, provided, yes. If there is sunlight. Okay. Comets, too, are visible, supposing or unless there are clouds. Of course, unless. We'll explain it. Okay. Comets are visible. Okay? If we use here supposing, if there are clouds, can you see the comets if there are clouds? No. If there aren't clouds, you can see the comets. So comets are visible if there are not clouds. Okay. Number 4, as long as or but for their predictability, we wouldn't know when to look out for comets. Okay, but for or as long as we said, but for is also if it hadn't been their predictability, we wouldn't, because here we do have negative statement or situation, we wouldn't know when to look if it hadn't been for the predictability. Okay, the next example. Supernovae, which are exploding stars, are rare and unpredictable otherwise or provided we would know approximately when to expect them. Okay, of course, otherwise, why? If we don't know approximately, changes the situation. Are unpredictable, and unpredictable here gives me the opposite mean or the negative form, so we'll use otherwise, if not. Okay, the last one to be seen, and we have finished. Till here, we stop here. I hope you enjoyed. Just what you're meant to know or to do is to read the passage on pages 84 and 85 and to hold your pen and underline the if conditionals forms so that you can understand through the examples and the situations. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much and have a good day.